Welcome to CATtheMinion YouTube channel. My name is Teresa, but you can call me Cat. This is going to be Adventures with Plastic Crack, but we're also doing sort of an art video here. I have found this hair mannequin. I think it might have real hair because there's some like grays in there. I haven't cleaned it yet. I'm gonna clean it though. I'm gonna dunk it in some water. These are, as far as I can tell, they run about 40 bucks. Not necessarily cheap, but not as expensive as I expected to find. There's still a sticker on here. This one says Chi, and the model is Megan. As far as I can tell, most of these mannequins have the same mold for the head. They just have them painted different colors. This one is just, tan skin with brunette. I've decided what I want to repaint her face as. So I'm ready to go with this. And you'll see what that is after the break as I go into the next part of the video. There's a little bit of a sparkle to the skin, which I guess it's supposed to have more, instead of just looking like flat plastic. I don't know if that's like dirt that's gonna come off when I wash her. So this is roughly the size of a real human head. It looks a little smaller, probably because there's no body. But if I put my hand on it, you can see, if you put your hand on your own face, what's going on there. And she's significantly bigger than a 12-inch Barbie styling head. You can see that her head is enormous in comparison. She's a lot bigger than my size Barbie as well in terms of the size. So this would be at least 5 feet tall, if not taller, if it was an entire mannequin. Alright, so just give it a little spin here. I have not taken the hair down. This is how it came. It's not hugely long. It's probably why this was in the trash. It looks like the hair has been cut. So we're not going to get super long hair, but considering the length of hair on the styling head, it's probably going to be, what you would expect. So we're going to have a shorter hairstyle. You can see that it's, whoever cut this doesn't know what the hell they're doing, apparently. But we're going to work with what we've got here. It's so weird to feel that it feels like human hair instead of doll hair. It's kind of creeping me out. But I'm going to clean it. I'm going to probably wipe her face. I don't know if I have acetone right now, but I'll take a look, see what's available and see if I can get that paint off of there. Or at least just paint over it. I don't know if I want the eyebrows to be there, as I've decided which grouping of doll that I want her to be. I'm going to base her off of an already existing one. I was deciding whether I wanted her to be mod or 80s or 90s or a little newer, and I think we're gonna go with early 90s just for funsies. And I've decided that she's going to be in this sort of Whitney Teresa vein of doll. So we'll see what we get. When I don't think I'm gonna video myself painting or doing any of the actual work, but we're just gonna do a little before and after, so maybe I won't put this in an art video. But it's definitely a project thing, and I wouldn't go out of my way to get a mannequin like this, because normally I'm just getting stuff in the Barbie universe, but when opportunity knocks, you have to get it. And I want to say that the hair rooting looks really gross. It looks gross. It's just gross to me. Let me get that into the camera. It kind of looks like pubes, like the way pubes are rooted into skin, and it's just kind of gross. Or like beard hair, which is basically just face pubes. But it's, I don't know, it creeps me out. Hopefully the hair won't gross me out as much after I wash it, but it's the real hair texture when I'm used to saran and nylon, it's kind of off-putting. But I'm definitely going to do something with this face, because that is not attractive. It's just wrong. I'm gonna give this thing some personality. So we're not gonna call her Megan, because this is gonna be a Teresa doll now. I'm gonna get her a little bit more cartoony and a little bit more pink. And I'm just gonna try to have a little fun with it. Alright, so I've finished as much as I can working on this hair mannequin. I washed it and brushed out the hair. I think the names of these must be based on the hair type. I figured that out all by myself. It's been cut, so the only thing I did was trim the bottom a little bit so it wasn't hanging down below the little neck knob. It still freaks me out that it's real hair. It kind of smells even though I put my shampoo in it. And the hair is a little bit curlier than my hair, but not much, even though mine's ginger. So when my hair is clean, it will curl like this on its own, just a little bit looser, but pretty close. So I have styled this after a 1992 Rappin' Rockin' Teresa doll, which I do not own, but I will find a picture and stick it up in the corner here for comparison. And let me turn this around. So I have temporary earrings on this because I didn't have the materials to make real ones, but you'll see what we've got here. Alright, so this is a little bit terrifying, but it looks pretty good to me, I think. So I've got the little hair elastics that the doll has. These are temporary stand-ins for the earrings that the doll would have, which are hoops with sort of metallic flower things like here. Let me see if I have a thing. So there'd be like a little round flower like here. Like here. And then the hoop, a gold hoop with an iridescent center, like a bluish iridescent center. And I need to go to Walmart or something and buy some hoop earrings to work with, and that isn't happening in the like day and a half since I got this. So I just put these crappy handmade wire things in here. I also found out that the texture of this is a lot different than a regular Barbie doll. The vinyl is like smelly and like a strange sort of buttery texture, and it's actually a lot thinner than I thought it would be. And most of this, it's only a couple millimeters thick, and then it's on a like a hard styrofoam frame. So if I take this out and then stick it back in, you should be able to hear that styrofoam crunching in there. But I did use the Dremel tool to drill these holes because I didn't know what was going on in there. I thought it was just going to be solid vinyl. So what I've done is I cut with my X-Acto knife the eyelid ridges as best as I could off of here, and they were pretty jagged, so I sanded them down with the 60 grit on both sides. And this one I had cut all the way through to the styrofoam by accident because I had no idea what was going on in there, and I tried to hot glue it back on, and then I just sort of filled with hot glue. It took me a few tries because it was coming out lumpy across the eye panel, just to try to smooth it out a little bit. And that worked pretty well. There's going to be some texture if you zoom in, but I mean, it's kind of like if a person has makeup on, and like if it was a real person with their eyes closed and they had painted the cartoon eyes on their eyelids, you would see some texture too. Or like when people glue down their eyebrows, you can kind of see it in there sometimes. So with the mouth, I painted the teeth on, like you might find on some real Barbies that don't have teeth molded in. Once in a while, you'll see a tooth painted on the bottom lip. And because of the way that this is molded with like really thin lips, I had to actually overpaint them all the way down to her chin, and then a couple of millimeters up over the natural lip line, which would be normal for drag queens, but I didn't realize I was going to have to do it for the Teresa as well. I don't have this actual doll, but I still have one with the 1992 Teresa face, or I think it's actually dated 91. But her makeup is different, so I don't think it would help to pull her out because I have the picture of this one anyway. So this didn't come out as translucent as it should be, but that's fine. It's like whatever, because this is still a little bit darker right around her eye. So translucent turquoise, and then pretty much the same color, only solid around. And then this stylized, it's sort of like three-tone brown, because the spot there is like a yellowy color, and then the highlights. And then the hot pink lips. I think I got it pretty close, because the magenta paint I have is kind of vibrant. And then the Teresa doll has little dimples at the corner of her mouth. This one is kind of a little bit out more than that one, but in a real person, it would be imperfect, lopsided, whatever. Natural fractal variation, you know what I mean. Nobody's face is perfect. If you do that face symmetry app, whatever they're called, and you flip your face so that they're both the same, you look like a totally different person. So I figured it was good enough. So I had to go back the second day when I worked on her a little bit more and paint the lips a little bigger to how they are now, because it looked effed up and it wasn't working. And then I realized that the hairline wasn't working too, because the mannequin hair comes up and then down in the middle, and it looked weird. So I slapped some paint on there. It's really obvious on the camera. You can see it's shiny there. It's not as bad in real life. Just to get some texture in there. So when you're looking at her, the shape of the forehead now is closer to the roundness that you'd get on the doll. And I had thought that the Rappin' Rockin' Teresa doll was going to have bangs, because I haven't looked at the pictures in a while, and it was the early 90s, and most of those dolls still had bangs. But nope. On the real doll, though, there's like a reddish streak coming into the little ponytails around her face, and I didn't want to do that because I kind of don't know how, and I didn't want to try to bleach this hair. And I thought it would be fine if I just left it. Now, the original doll has longer hair, but this is a styling head, more or less, and those usually have shorter hair anyway. And it comes in straight into the straight here, and then the rest of it, the length, all the way down to her waist, would be crimped. But since this doll's hair is naturally wavy, I'm like, that's close enough to crimp. Why would I put effort into trying to crimp curly hair? So that made that a lot easier. So it freaked me out. And then once I worked on it a second time and made the lips bigger and painted this and stuck these crappy temporary substitute earrings in, it was looking better to me. And it's still weird because she's so much bigger and her eyeballs are huge, but and also I might want to put like a hot turquoise like jacket collar on here to cover up this base so that it looks like the head is wearing the clothes that it's supposed to. But I think I would have to purchase something like that to get it on there. So this isn't quite done all the way, but I would say about 90% done. So it's just the earrings and maybe like a hot turquoise collar, and that's all she would need to be fairly accurate. I mean, I like it. It's just, it's hard to get used to because she's so huge and just weird. And again, because the hair streaks aren't like right how they would be on the doll, but not worried about that too much. So anyway, that's what I did with the mannequin head. And like I said, I'm starting to like it. Definitely looks like a Teresa doll to me now. Okay, I've come back with an extra segment because I have made earrings at the last minute. So I figured out that to make it look like the original doll, that I could use CDs for her earrings. So they're pretty huge, but it's accurate to the doll, and sort of a pseudo flower there. It's kind of looks like a sun. It took me a long time because of painting and hot gluing. I get to test out the glitter hot glue that my BFF gave me. So blue centers, because there's a hole in it, just to give it a little bit, but it's got that perfect iridescence, and I think it's close enough. Again, they look ridiculously huge, but if you look at the doll, it tracks. And these are pretty big up here, because I needed them to be the right scale for the discs. And I am really happy with this now. It's a lot better than those stand-in ones I had. So she's completely done now. I decided I didn't want to add any color or fabric to this brown base because it would detract from the color in the makeup. So just to let it all be sort of a brown base, and we have the final situation here. Really excited about this. She looks good. The earrings are ridiculous and I love them. Took me several hours to make, again, because of the painting. These are all gold on the inside. And the backs of these are gold as well. You can almost see it there. Alright, and then one other point I just want to make while I was looking in my fabric for my cat plushies, just to see what I had. Looks like this one lost one of its whiskers again, so I'm going to have to put another piece of fishing line in there. But I was looking in my fabric, and I discovered that I had some pink vinyl. So I was able to finally make the dangly bits for this out of some pink vinyl from the 70s. Just some vinyl from in the interior of one of my Barbie sleep and keep cases that I gutted. So I was like, oh, I know what I'm going to do with that. So now she has dangly earrings. They're a little bit simpler than the basic doll. Slightly different. Again, slightly different with this one, but I wanted it to stick out a little bit more because these are kind of soft. But I'm not gonna, worry about it because they look like they're supposed to. If you haven't seen this one yet, there's a video. So I did earrings yesterday, and for like 2 seconds when I was cleaning my table off for this, so there you go. If you want some iridescent dangly earrings, get yourself some CDs and glue them to stuff. And these are just attached to this with fishing line, and I got some pin backs stuck in there. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, check out my playlists tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye. Thank you for watching. Stay connected with CATtheMinion Energy Work. Check out my complete suite of goods and services conveniently from my Linktree. linktr.ee/CATtheMinion. Color your way into some relaxation with my coloring books Energy Forms and Draco Forms on Amazon. Get groovy with fashion and home accessories from my Cafe Press or Redbubble shops. Decorate your environment with original art and divination tools from my Etsy shop.